Hello everyone and welcome to this ActivePipe webinar. My name is Henry Osborne and I manage the customer success department here at ActivePipe. Seeing a lot of familiar names coming through on this list, which is great. So hi to those of you that I've met before and nice to meet you those that I haven't met before. So today I'm going to show you how you can win clients with hyper-targeted campaigns, okay? And you're going to be able to do this by using some of our brand new features that we have just released, which is really exciting. Now, firstly, team, what's the problem that we're trying to solve here? So I just want to touch on this for a little bit. 72% of people expect the information in emails to be tailored to their requirements. Okay, that's a huge percentage. Doesn't surprise me at all though. Going the extra mile to personalize your emails to prospect requirements can actually make all the difference in turning them into a lifelong client, someone that you're going to be able to work with and service for a very long time. Now, as you know, I'm sure, for the contacts in your CRM that do have buying requirements, for example, location, price requirements, bedroom requirements, etc., ActivePipe can automatically send them properties that match their criteria. But for those that don't have buying requirements, or if you want to build custom campaigns, our latest product developments that I'm going to show you today are all focused on improving property filtering. So what it's going to do is going to allow you to get even more targeted with your email marketing. And I'm going to take you through each of these updates now and show you some of the campaigns within the ActivePipe platform that you can actually build with these new features. So the first one is property price changes. All right, everyone loves a bargain. We know that. You can let your buyers know when a price listing has now dropped. Okay, really important information for all of your buyers, especially those who have been interested in that property before. So this new feature gives you more control over targeting emails based on those price changes. Some example campaigns, automated price drop campaigns for contacts that have engaged with the specific property that I mentioned before, or for example, a weekly price drop newsletter showcasing all of the properties that have had their price lowered recently. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into the ActivePipe platform and show you how you can actually use this new feature. So here I am in the ActivePipe platform and we can see my dashboard here. To build an email, we go down to the emails section and then we can go ahead and create an email. Now, choose a template to start your email building from. I've only got the one here, so I'm just going to select that and give my email a name. So what we're talking about in this example is property price changes. Now, the email name is simply for your internal reference team. It's not anything that the client's going to see. Just name it something that is familiar to you so you can come back to it. Hit continue and it's going to open up our email builder. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag a property panel into our email. So I'm going to choose a grid view in this case and drop that into our email. Now I'm going to turn on the automatic feed toggle, which is at the very top here. We can see it's grayed out. If we click on it, it'll go green and we can see that automatic feed is on. Now, the exciting part, I'm going to start to show you how you can actually utilize some of these new features. So if we click define properties here, we can see a whole list of options within basic, advanced, contact, and feeds. Today, I'm going to be mostly focused on the updates in the basic and the advanced section. So at the moment, we're talking about property price changes. So what we can do here is in the advanced section, this section here, we can turn this filter on. Within the dropdown, we can then say we want to show properties that have had a price change in the last 7 days. Now, a brand new function here is you can actually say whether the price has decreased or the price has increased. So if we click price decreased, which is the most common scenario, we can make sure that the properties that are going to pull through in this panel are only those properties that have had a price change that's been decreased in the last 7 days. So if I hit continue, that's going to pull those properties through relevant to my data feed. Now, if I click back in here, the other thing I mentioned was, sending this to people that have actually clicked on a specific property as well. So what we can do is we can say properties that have had a price change in the last 7 days, price decrease. And we also want to go to the contact section and say, contact interacted with this property in the last X amount of days. I think 7 days is probably too short a window, I would probably say any contact that's clicked on a property in the last 30 days probably wants to know if there's been a price change happened within the last 7 days. So again, if I click continue here, it's going to save those settings. Now, the reason it says it looks like no properties match your criteria is because this is very targeted now, and it's matched to the contacts properties that they've been clicking on. So every single contact that you send this email out to will receive a slightly different version of this campaign. So that's what this placeholder here means. And yeah, we're good to go. Now, let's say I'm happy with my email. Just to sort of round this quick demo out, if we hit save, first of all, we need to choose a communication category. I'm going to call it weekly listings. And also, I forgot to put a subject line in, which is super important. So maybe property price changes, something that's going to catch the eye of your buyer. And then we can click save. Now, if I want to send this campaign out, all I need to do now is we've seen the quick send button appear. I can go ahead and hit quick send, select a specific audience to send this to, or I can send it to all of my contacts. For example, we may want to just send this to buyers, a buyers tag. We can either schedule that immediately, or we can choose a specific date and time to send that out. For example, 4 p.m. We seem to get pretty good open rates later in the day, 4 p.m. on a Thursday, and then I can go ahead and hit send. Alternatively, I can actually repeat this as well. So maybe we want this to be a weekly campaign that sends every Thursday. And because we've created this dynamic property panel here with properties that have had a price decrease, and it only includes properties that the contact has actually clicked on in the past, we could send this every week, and it's automatically going to pull through those properties that are relevant to your contacts. And then we would go ahead and hit send. Now, you may be asking, what if there isn't a property that actually matches the contact's requirements? Simply means that it won't send to them. It will, of course, only send to those contacts with a relevant criteria that fits in this property panel that we've defined here. Cool. Okay, so that's the first one I wanted to show you there, property price changes. Now, moving on to the second new feature here, listing statuses. So we've actually expanded our array of possible listing statuses to actually better align with what you have stored in your CRM. So basically, it means that you can be much more granular now in the way that you serve properties to your contacts, including the ability to send things like exclusive properties before they hit the market. Some example campaigns are things like off market or coming soon, sold properties, leased properties, or even going as granular as localized sold properties, e.g. Properties sold within maybe a 1 kilometer radius of the contact's home. Now, we do have a full list of statuses which we support here, and they, as I mentioned, essentially align with your CRM. So whatever's coming through in your property feed into ActivePipe, it will align with the statuses here, which will be available in ActivePipe. I'm just going to drop this article into our chat window here for you guys, if you want to take a closer look at that. It should be coming through now. Cool. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use this within the ActivePipe platform. So we're talking about listing statuses. So again, if in my email here, if I click to define the properties in this section, it's going to switch off what I was doing before. Okay, and now we're talking about listing statuses, which is down here. So what's coming through in my property feed into my ActivePipe account here is simply just current and sold. So pretty basic. But if you have things like coming soon, things like off market, just leased, just sold, all those sorts of things will pull through automatically and be available in your listing status section here. So for example, if I just want to show sold listings in my email, hit continue, and those sold listings will come through. Nice and easy. If we want to send that one out, click save. And then again, just go to your quick send function here. And perhaps in this instance, we want to send it to a different category. We're sending sold properties. So maybe we want to send this to a potential seller. We want to show them properties that are selling that may be of interest to them. Now, we can go ahead and hit send. Now to take this one to another level, if we go back and define our properties, so I've selected we want to include sold listings. What we can also do is we can match this to the contact's location or their state or their postcode or their suburb or neighborhood. And we can do that in the contact section and in the section where it says located near contact. So if we click on that, we can either choose the same postcode, the suburb, the state, or by distance. Distance is a nice one. If we have the contact's home address, we can essentially send them properties that have sold within a 1 kilometre radius of their home. So super targeted and super helpful. Again, if we hit continue, it's going to give us this placeholder because, again, we're matching it to the contact. So every contact is going to see something that's slightly different to the next recipient. Cool. Okay, so that's listing statuses. The third one I wanted to show you here is property types. So the property type is one of the first things that prospects generally look for when they're evaluating their options. Sending properties that your prospects will be interested in is actually pivotal to how much they trust you moving forward. So for example, if an investor may be interested in units or apartments, sending that investor properties that don't match that criteria may not inspire confidence in you as an agent. So ActivePipe is now more flexible than ever in terms of filtering properties by types. Some of the campaigns you could use this for is maybe specific apartment listings, maybe land or rural listings, or maybe something for first home buyers that are a little bit cheaper or something like that. Cool, so I'll show you how to do this now. In property types, we click back into our property module. I'll switch back to current listings and just turn off what I had before. So what we're looking at here is property types, which is at the very top here, things like unit, townhouse, house, condo, land, rural, whatever. Again, this is going to match, these fields are going to match what is being pulled through in your property feed. In my specific feed, I've only got units, townhouses, and houses. So pretty straightforward, but again, for example, we could just click houses, click continue, and that's simply going to pull through all our houses, which we can then go ahead and send to a specific buyer. Okay, so that was property types. Now moving on to price ranges. So each individual in your CRM has different price range requirements, right? Of course, you need to have the ability to target certain price ranges to different audiences within your database. Some of the campaigns that I think this would be useful for is, luxury properties, if you've got a high-end clientele, and then you could maybe drop that down for first-home buyers. So maybe properties are a little bit cheaper and more affordable for people just trying to get onto the market. So the way that you can utilize this is if we jump back into ActivePipe, modify our properties here in this property panel, and now we're looking at price ranges. Okay, so if we go down to our advanced section, we can see price range here. Now there's a minimum and a maximum. So if, for example, I wanted to put an email together that's maybe for first home buyers, maybe I want that to be between 0 and maybe 1 million. Not 10 million, sorry, 1 million. Here we go. And we can include other things like, only the agent's properties, if that's something that we want to do, or exclude properties with hidden or undisclosed prices. But if we go ahead and hit continue there, that's going to pull through my properties within that price range. Nice and easy. Now, again, if we want to send this out, we can hit save, and we can go to quick send and choose who we want to send this one to. Something like this, I mentioned first home buyers. I've got a first home buyer category here. We can apply that, and I'm going to send that to my 4 first home buyers on Thursday every week, or alternatively, just a one-off send as well. Cool. So that's price ranges. Moving on, we've got agent location targeting. Okay, so this is a little bit more focused around you as an agent and the areas that you work in, the areas that you service. So, as agents, you are definitely the expert in your local area. So narrowing down your property listings to specific areas to create community-based campaigns will actually build your brand as the local expert. So you can now filter properties down to state, neighborhood, and subdivision levels. Some of the example campaigns here is, if you create an email with all the properties within one suburb, pretty straightforward, and send it out to a specific category or segment of contacts, or send it to everybody. You could think about things like sea change or tree change, regional versus metro, featured location, maybe a different featured location each week or month, localized market reports, and even community events. So jumping into ActivePipe, I'll show you how this works. So we're talking about agent location targeting. Again, if we define our properties in our property panel, I'll go ahead and switch off our price range, which we were looking at before. And what we can do in the advanced section is restrict listings by suburb. Okay, suburb is an option, region, state, postcode. Again, the fields that will be available here for you within this property panel are specific to what's coming through in your data feed. So for me, these are the options that I have. And I'm going to go ahead and use suburb in this example. And the suburb that I'm in is Hawthorn. So if I click Hawthorn, we've selected that suburb, we can hit continue, and that's going to automatically pull through only Hawthorn listings into my property panel, as we can see here. Hawthorn, 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 which is great. So that one's nice and easy. Moving on, in a similar sense here, we've also got contact location targeting as opposed to agent location targeting. So contacts within the research phase of their property journey will often look at properties sold within their area. It's common, it happens a lot. You can send properties to contacts within their location, including postcode, suburb or city, same state, or even a distance from their home, similar to what we did with the sold properties before. Now, some of the campaigns that could be utilized here is a sold property campaign, or properties for sale that actually match the contact suburb. So jumping back into ActivePipe, if we define our properties again, what we can do here, we're talking about contact location targeting. So if we go to the contact section here, we can actually include properties that are located near the contact. So it could either be same postcode, by distance, by suburb, or by state. So I'm going to go with suburb again. So that means that any of my contacts who receive this email are only going to receive properties that are in the same suburb that they live in. So nice and easy to set up. If we hit continue, because this is going to be specific to our contacts, it's going to give us this placeholder again. But this is certainly a campaign that you can send out, each week, because those properties are going to automatically pull through dynamic to that contact's requirements. Another thing I'll just mention here is on the basics section, you can filter by what these properties are actually ordered by. Okay, so generally and by default, it's by date listed. So that means it's going to show the newest properties listed in the Hawthorn suburb at the top, finishing with the oldest properties listed there. So it means that if you do send this on a recurring basis, perhaps each week, your contacts are going to be seeing new properties at the top and the older ones will be down the bottom. So they're seeing something new first. Some of the other options here are date modified, newest to oldest, date sold, newest to oldest, priced high to low. Maybe you want to put the highest priced properties at the top, and all sorts of other options here, which you can take a look at. Okay, moving on. So now what I want to do is just sort of pull this all together. So overall, what we're providing here is advanced targeting. We've improved the way that you can use existing options by allowing for multiple values to be selected for listing status, listing type, property type, all those sorts of things. So this means what you can do if we bring all of this together is show all houses in Hawthorn, for example, that are between 1 million and 2 million, or between 1 million and less, for example. So essentially combining all the things that I was showing you individually. So I'll show you through that as well. I can see some comments coming through and some questions, which is good, which we'll jump on at the end as well. Some examples which we could use this for is property type, price, and location campaigns, very specific, dynamic contact matched property campaigns as well. So I'll show you what I mean. Going back into our property section here. So if I just turn off what we've got here, what I could do, for example, is getting very specific and granular. Maybe I just want to include houses in this campaign for this section of contacts. I want the listing type to be for sale, and I want the status to be current. I want the zoning type to be residential, and I want them to be ordered by newest to oldest, because I do want to set this up on a recurring basis. I want the new properties to come through at the top. In the advanced section, what we want to do here is I want to include the price range of 1 million to 2 million. Okay. And I want to restrict the listings by a specific suburb. Again, going with Hawthorn. Select that there. Now, what I can do, sort of bringing this all together, is hitting continue will show us, there's only 3, but it will show us all the properties that are listed in Hawthorn. They're for sale, they're current, they're between 1 million and 2 million. And this basically means that what we can do is schedule this campaign to run for all of our Hawthorn contacts, and we could send it every week, because it's going to automatically update. Again, if I go into quick send here, perhaps I want to send this to a different category. I want to send this one to, where was it? Buyers, here we go. To buyers, specific to this area, send it at 4 o'clock every Thursday, and repeat this schedule on a weekly basis. Cool. If I go ahead and hit send, it's going to let me know my campaign is running, and we're good to go. Look, that's about it from me, team. Just to wrap up here, if you're ready to start sending any of these campaigns that we've shown you today, all you need to do is create a new campaign, drag and drop the property grid into your email, hover over that property grid and click to find properties, which I was doing a million times in that session. And then define the properties that you want to include in that email between the basic section, the advanced section, and the contact section. Great, thank you so much for your time, everybody, and hope to chat to you soon.